men's fantasy is that they're feeding us women. Like, I'm so done with the pick-me propaganda. Okay, like the earlier we cure the pick-me disease, the better off we are. Hey bestie, welcome to the Spoiled Girly Support Group podcast where we talk about how to get that bag while also securing your own bag. I'm your host Elle, and let's get into it. On today's episode, we are talking about candid girlfriends, cool girl, manic pixie dream girl, brain rot core. We'll also explore the concept of inner lives and the performative imperative directed at women to perform their inner lives, because if a woman doesn't perform her inner life, her interests, her thoughts, her art for others, for men, for other women, does she even have one? And also, we will explore why it seems like only acceptable versions of an inner life qualifies a woman to have adopted a full personhood and to be adopted into the venerated class of a full self-actualized feminist woman. And everyone else is a candid girlfriend, patient zero of the pick-me disease. Has nothing going on in her brain, thoughtless, a literal airhead, a blank canvas for men to project their desires and wishes on. Obviously, we don't believe that, but a lot of people do. So we're gonna talk about it. But before we get into it, I need you to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you never miss a Spoiled Girly episode. With that being said, let's get into it. Let's start with the candid girlfriend. Here's the video that started it all.
So what's your take?
My take is that all guys think they want to date the like cool, hot, artsy, baddie girlfriend with like baby bangs and a bad father, but that's actually not the case at all. What all guys in New York want is to date the like candid girlfriend. You can trademark that. Candid girlfriend is a girl who's like 5'5.5", naturally thin, has mousy brown hair no longer than shoulder length. She's like from New Hampshire, maybe studied art history, and I would say the biggest part of her personality is that she like loves pomegranate, and her boyfriend thinks that's like so quirky and adorable.
100% agree.
She's never the like overt center of attention, but her boyfriend is always posting film photos of her, hashtag 35mm, on his Instagram story, and she's always just kind of like... The candid girl is the patient zero of the pick-me girl. She's not even trying to be pick-me, she just authentically has nothing going on in her brain. Pick-me girl is a girl who pretends to be interesting and unique to get attention. This girl just has nothing going on in her brain. She like likes good pottery.
And so all guys want that?
All guys want that because they can make a muse out of her. Also, this girl is always referred to as this one in the caption of the photo. Happy birthday to this one. And it's always like a photo of the back of her head. They're like in Tokyo on vacation in the spring. Do you know what I'm talking about? They like both love Japanese culture, but they're both white. I've really only seen her on like the third slide of like an IG photo dump on her boyfriend's Instagram. I would love to meet one of them. I'm a girl's girl. I want to see you up close. I want to touch your skin. Her name's Emily. They're taking the hot men.
Let's get into the comments.
Is the girl's girl in the room with us? The fact that she's being so mean about this supposed hypothetical girl makes me want to defend and befriend pomegranate girl so badly. Emily is a pick-me, but this behavior is somehow not. I genuinely can't tell.
So a bunch of women were not into Subway Girl's take. They think she is the pick-me in this situation for putting down Emily, the candid girlfriend, pomegranate girl. And people not only wrote comments about how Subway Girl's take is wrong, they also made videos.
Don't lie. You've seen this girl before. And on more than just the third photo of her boyfriend's Instagram photo dump. You clicked. You went to her Instagram. You scrolled till you found an old boyfriend. You went to his Instagram. You went to her friends' Instagrams to see if they had tagged her before. You went on your burner to watch her Instagram story. Somehow you tripped and fell into her LinkedIn profile. You blacked out, and when you came to, you were reading an online newspaper article about her coming third in a high school track meet. Cause this is too specific. She likes pomegranate? Girl, what? What is this shared woman we all know who likes pomegranate and her boyfriend thinks it's quirky? This is personal. This is a specific person. Emily is real. And she's in your head.
Let's get into the comments.
The girl complaining about the candid girlfriend is the final boss pick-me. She's just too cool and chill. She's not like other girls. Her saying they're taking the hot man at the end, LOL.
Subway Girl's take definitely ruffled a lot of feathers, but some people have a different take. Someone said,
"You missed the point that she's critiquing men who claim they want women with personalities but then choose a milquetoast partner with no identity that they can project onto. The whole issue of that video is that she's claiming she's making an observation about men's idyllic perception of a type of woman, yet she's only going in on Emily, not this loser of a guy. Plus, her saying that they're taking all the hot men at the end was laughable. I honestly think she is making more of a point about the narrative men construct about their chill girlfriends than the actual women. You missed the point. She was saying how the guy puts no effort in the relationship. He calls her this one. He only knows she likes pomegranate."
And here's here's the comment that got me thinking, like, I think Subway Girl's take is a little deeper than a lot of us think it to be when we first watch it. Someone said,
Y'all aren't hearing her like I am.
this video was living rent-free in my head. After a couple plays, I started hearing her differently too. And this next creator articulates it perfectly.
Okay, I have two things to say. Number one, there can't be a candid girlfriend core because there is no core. There is no visual representation of what a candid girl is because candid girls do not have ideals of what they should look like. Second of all, the thing that everyone is getting wrong about the Subway Girls video is when she called candid girlfriends patient zero of pick-me girls, she was not calling the candid girlfriend a pick-me girl. She was insinuating that the candid girlfriend is what every pick-me girl wants to be. The reason that we don't like pick-me girls is because the way that they act is, first of all, selfish, but second of all, disingenuous. But the way that a candid girl acts is just how she acts. And the reason that they're called pick-me girls is because the pick-me girls want to be picked so bad, but the candid girls, like Subway Girl said in her video, are the ones that are actually getting picked. But the reason they're getting picked is because men can make a muse out of them. They're easily malleable, not in their own personalities, but men can mold them in their own minds into what they want them to be. And I finish this off by rounding it out and once again saying there is no actual physical look to a pick-me girl. They are unbothered by the ideas that society has of them. That's another point that Subway Girl was making in her video very obviously that every single one of you misinterpreted. She's not saying there's nothing going on up here and calling them dumb in every facet of life. She's saying that there is actually no conscious thought in their minds about what other people's expectations of them are in the same way that we are plagued by them. I wake up every morning and I make myself look a certain way because I care so deeply about what other people think of me. But candid girlfriends don't have to do that because they just go by what makes them the most comfortable. And pick-me girls wish that they could embody that. But everything they do is disingenuous because all they care about is being picked by the latest form of male validation.
Let's get into the comments.
Subway Girl was too smart for TikTok. I love this explanation. I immediately understood what Subway Girl was saying. Ha ha ha.
Subway Girl is so smart because she is low-key criticizing the men for how they treat their girlfriends. But at the same time, did she really have to go that hard on candid girlfriend? Probably not. But the overarching critique here is towards the candid girlfriend's boyfriend, not candid girlfriend herself.
She's literally right. And the comments and the stitches to this video are proof to me that, like, you guys all think that Barbie is the most rudimentary feminism 101, and yet at every single opportunity you fail to take even the most, like, basic concepts from the Barbie movie and apply it to your own life. There's so many stitches and comments being like, this is woman hating, like, you don't have to be interesting, like, it's okay if you're just a little bit boring, like, why are you hating on women that are just boring? And it's like, first of all, I think what she's saying in this video is far more a critique of the men that specifically select for the type of women they think of are passive vessels for, like, their arty endeavor. It's about how, like, he poses her in his photos, how he, like, positions her in his Instagram, and, like, how he thinks that her liking pomegranate is so, like, funny and quirky. I think it's far more about that than it is a critique of the woman herself, of the Emily herself. Second of all, the idea that, like, it's okay for women to, like, not be interesting or to not have any, like, interests or talents or, like, anything that they can present themselves as confidently, the fact that that is just, like, okay. Like, sure, you're not a criminal for being boring. You're not a bad person for being boring. But do you have to aspire to that? And this literally is just the Barbie movie. Like, do you guys watch Barbie being like, shoot, I don't have any, like, interests or talents or, like, a sense of self. I guess that's fine. I guess I'll just sit here. No, that's not the point of the Barbie movie. The point of the Barbie movie is that she leaves Barbie land to live in the real world and to try and make meaning for herself. And she chooses, like, a creative pathway. You don't have to choose a creative pathway. But the point is that she's trying. Because the problem is when you're not trying, you're really susceptible to just becoming this, like, passive vessel for people to project onto rather than being able to form any sense of self and being able to, like, achieve any kind of liberation. And again, when Barbie is sitting there being like, shoot, I don't have a sense of self, I'm not saying she should go herself. I'm saying, like, it's good that she's like, I want to try to have a sense of self, and it's so hopeful and it's so beautiful that she can want better for herself. Like, it's okay to want better for yourself than to just, like, sit there and be this, like, passive person for people to project onto. I think there's this really dangerous idea in all of this that, like, collective liberation is not going to require any kind of, like, individual reflection or individual action of any kind. I just think that's not true, and it's so like anti-growth. Like, why are people so averse to like reflecting and growing? Like, I think the act of doing that is actually a very hopeful act. I'm not like trying to shame people into like growing and being better. I think it's like a very hopeful thing to want better for yourself. I also saw people being like, well, we love himbos, we love the golden retriever boyfriend, so why is it that when like a woman is like that, we criticize? Again, the Barbie movie, like the whole point of Ken is that it sucks that he's a himbo. Like Barbie hates him for that. She hates that he's like incompetent and that he's like smothering her. And at the end, she's like, maybe it's not so good that you form your whole sense of self around like your gender and around your relationship to me, because I hate that. Like, it's not good for any relationship where one person is a himbo or a bimbo or whatever, and has no sense of self outside of that relationship. We should all, like, we shouldn't aspire to have no sense of self. It's like in the Billie Eilish song, and I feel crazy for, like, having to use the Barbie movie to describe these things, but, like, it literally is just the Barbie movie. Billie Eilish is like, I don't know what I feel, I don't know how I feel, but I want to try. It's the trying. I'm not saying that I'm like the most interesting person in the world, but I'm just saying that like I am interested in like growing and forming a sense of self that I can present to the world confidently, and I can present to the world as something that I wouldn't like to change about myself. It's just trying.
This is how I interpreted it, like the alternative guys who prefer having a kind of artsy but not too artsy girlfriend so that they can be the interesting one in the relationship, and they see their girlfriends as a pretty vessel for their performative coolness. But the girls circled back to critique women instead of men for objectifying their girlfriends.
For some reason, whenever something doesn't sit right with me, I don't know why, like legitimate reasons come up as to why that certain behavior isn't sitting right with me. And I am talking about men who have social media, okay? Remember when I told you in this class about a man having social media or a huge following on social media is a red flag? This is why. As we established in that class, women are status and women are the prize. So when men post women on social media, it's giving objectification. It's giving PR. It's giving curated performative coolness. It's giving using the woman for clout. Obviously, this take requires a lot of nuance. No nuance, Nelly. Like, I got people in the comments last time about,
What about this? What about that?
Lynn, it's not about that then, okay?
What about this? What about guys who like use it for work and like...
Then it's not about that, okay? Like, we're gonna get into that subtopic in a little bit. Like, I have beef with the what about this type of people. Back to the topic. When something gives you the ick, trust your gut, okay? Like, every time a man posts you on social media, he is deriving clout from your presence with him. And this clout increase benefits him socially, financially, and egotistically. Like, other women looking at his account now find him even more attractive because, wow, like if someone like you would give him a chance, he must be a catch. As per the poaching the pre-selected mate theory. Okay, like you need to wake up to how much you benefit every single man that comes in contact with you. Like, wake up, okay? And if you don't believe that, you have low self-esteem. You need to work on that. Like, you need to watch a lot of the classes in the Spoiled Girly support group until you believe that to be true, okay? With all that being said, a bunch of people also brought up valid points about how if the original video was a critique of men, why was she honing in on Emily, the candid girlfriend? Like, why does she have to go hard on Emily like that? Someone said,
I get this, but I still think she was projecting, to be honest. How does she know that the other girl doesn't have a rich inner life? She only knows about her existence from social media.
and then someone commented on that.
Exactly, and she's saying she's dumb isn't pointing out the critique at the man. She is clearly targeting the woman.
Someone else said,
I don't think anyone is saying it's okay to be boring. She's assuming the specific group of women have nothing going on in their brains and that they have no real personality, which is misogynistic.
So these comments really got into the core of the crux of the matter, and we're gonna talk about it. The point I really wanted to get into today is that Subway Girl perceives Emily, the candid girlfriend, to have nothing going on in her brain, like a literal airhead. But she also mentions that Emily is an artistic baddie girl. So which one is it? Someone said,
I think the main problem here is that she's describing a woman with actual artistic hobbies and interests, pottery, finding good stuff at flea markets, history of the arts, studies, as being boring and empty-headed in contradiction with artistic baddie girls, meaning that she believes that an artsy aesthetic means the person is more interesting and worthy of attention, all in all contributing to the issue of performatism, which is such a predominant struggle for young women.
one of the phrases that has been living rent-free in my head is to be a woman is to perform. And it's so true. I mean, I'm a woman and I perform every day. I'm performing right now. So back to this comment. This begs the question. okay? If a woman doesn't perform her inner life and interests and thoughts for others, for men, for other women, does she even have an inner life? It's like if no one hears a tree fall in the middle of the forest, did it even really fall? So Emily, the candid girlfriend, isn't seen posting her art. She is only seen through her boyfriend's Instagram dumps, where she is referred to as this one instead of her name. It's giving objectification. How others perceive her is exactly how her boyfriend portrays her. And maybe how he portrays her is exactly how he wants her to be. A blank canvas for his projections, the muse to his performative coolness. And so Subway Girl, by describing Emily exactly how her boyfriend portrays her, even she falls into the trap of assuming candid girlfriend is the one-dimensional airhead her boyfriend portrays her to be, wants the rest of the world to see her. Like, this is such a multi-layered take. Like, Subway Girl may have been too smart for TikTok, not gonna lie. Like, I don't know if it's on purpose, but she's also showing how us women fall for the boyfriend's performative coolness, for his curation of his objectified airhead girlfriend, this one. Genius. Honestly, maybe Subway Girl was too smart for TikTok. Too smart for us. Now let's get back to this reaction video that we just watched. Like, I get what she's saying and I don't disagree with her, but let's add on another layer. One thing about us women is we perceive self-actualization and having an inner life as a singular set of acceptable paths to self-actualization and inner life creation as dictated by our own selves, our own immediate social circles. For a lot of us, it's meditating, reading the right books, engaging in spiritualism, being enlightened by certain thinkers and thought leaders, like, that's the vibe. And all other women who don't engage in that one set of acceptable framework is less evolved, less actualized, less woman.
We are so much smarter than the other women. Like, they're all literal airheads. Like, there's nothing going on in their brains.
But as I get older, I see how myopic that worldview is. Women can achieve inner lives, enlightenment, by engaging in anything that honors their desires to do good for themselves and for others, and sometimes by getting closer to God. And what do I mean by that? Some women's rich inner lives consist of reading their Bible every morning, making their family food, going to church, spending time with their girlfriends, gossiping with their girlfriends. These tasks also fit into the framework of self-actualization. These also point to a rich inner life. Whether or not you agree with that framework, like, I don't do everything in that framework, but the women who do love it. And they feel so internally rich living this kind of lifestyle, developing this kind of inner life. And this brings me to this point. There is no one acceptable version of a rich inner life. But it seems like if you don't have that one acceptable framework of a rich inner life, it's as good as you not having one. Like, that's not how that works, okay? Long story short, having a rich inner life, having a personality, outside of liking pomegranates, may look one way for you, but it may look different for another woman, and that's okay. So when we ourselves, as women, adopt the same de-intellectualization of other women that men do to us as a class, we call other women airheads. We say that there's nothing going on in their heads. Their whole personality type is that they love pomegranates. When it is us who lack the understanding of other women's rich inner lives. It is us who are ignorant.
She described a shallow male fantasy about a woman with no needs.
Speaking of male fantasies, let's talk about Manic Pixie Dream Girl. If you're not familiar with Manic Pixie Dream Girl, a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, MPDG, is a stock character type in fiction usually depicted as a young woman with eccentric personality quirks who serves as the romantic interest for a male protagonist. The term was coined by film critic Nathan Rabin after observing Kirsten Dunst's character in Elizabethtown. Rabin criticized the type as one-dimensional, existing only to provide emotional support to the protagonist or to teach him important life lessons while receiving nothing in return. Rabin writes,
When I coined the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl in an essay about the movie Elizabethtown in 2007, I never could have imagined how that phrase would explode. Describing the film's adorably daffy love interest played by Kirsten Dunst, I defined the MPDG as a fantasy figure who exists solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures.
He expands further that
the trope of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl is a fundamentally sexist one, since it makes women seem less like autonomous independent entities than appealing props to help mopey sad white men self-actualize.
And we have seen the manic pixie dream girl trope play out so much in so many of the movies we watched growing up, from girls to teenagehood to adulthood, and it's overall been a harmful trope for women. Even Rabin wants to cancel the word that he created and the trope, saying,
So I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to pop culture. I'm sorry for creating this unstoppable monster. 7 years after I typed that fateful phrase, I'd like to join Kazan and Green in calling for the death of the patriarchal lie of the manic pixie dream girl trope. I would welcome its erasure from public discourse. I'd applaud an end to articles about its countless different permutations. Let's all try to write better, more nuanced, and multidimensional female characters, women with rich inner lives and complicated emotions and total autonomy, who might scrum ukuleles or dance in the rain even when there are no men around to marvel at their free-spiritedness.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl says, have you heard this record? Manic Pixie Dream Girl says, let me save you with this record. Let me put the headphones on for you and smile while you listen. Cut to your point of view. Watch me smile while you listen. Hear that? That's the sound of you becoming a better person. I'm gonna paint a picture of a bird on your beige wall without your permission, and you're gonna love it. And you thought you hated birds. See me encouraging you to take risks? Manic Pixie Dream Girl wants you to do something you've never done before, like go swing dancing or smile. You wanna know my name? You never call me by it anyway.
Someone said,
Everyone progressively getting less and less enthusiastic as they realize the weight of the words being spoken is a lot to take in.
I noticed this too. Like when you're younger, a teenager moving into young adulthood, you probably wouldn't notice this vibe until much later, but you will probably experience the disappointment of realizing that a lot of the men you will date don't really see you as an individual. And it's very disorienting when you make that realization and no one prepares you for it. Someone said,
Everyone wants a manic pixie dream girl until she breaks character.
like I said, to be a woman is to perform. And when you no longer perform, are you even a woman? Remember when Subway Girl says, oh, and candid girlfriends get all the hottest men.
They're taking the hot men.
Whenever women watch these movies with manic pixie dream girls and the cute guy falls for them and they have this whirlwind romance where the guy is wrapped up in his own internal thoughts and conflicts and the manic pixie dream girl is basically being a pick-me for him and in the end he ends up picking her, that's fantasy. Women watch these movies and it informs how they see the world. Like, do I have to be bubbly and helpful and persistent and spontaneous and giving up my vacation to Hawaii so I can help some random guy I met on a plane navigate how to cremate his father's remains? Maybe then I'll finally get picked. That's literally the plot of Elizabethtown, by the way. Like, no, like these are men's fantasies that they're feeding us women. Like, I'm so done with the pick-me propaganda. Okay, like the earlier we cure the pick-me disease, the better off we are. Speaking of pick-me propaganda, let's talk about anti-pick-me propaganda. Gone Girl. If you're not familiar with the movie, Gone Girl is a book-turned-movie surrounding Amy Dunn being fed up with being the cool girl. She finds out that her husband, Nick, is cheating on her after he moved her from New York to his sleepy hometown. What does she do? She decides to come up with an elaborate plan to frame him for her murder. And a lot of people were comparing Subway Girl's candid girlfriend monologue to Amy's monologue in the film.
Men always say that as the defining compliment, don't they? She's a cool girl. Being the cool girl means I am a hot, brilliant, funny woman who adores football, poker, dirty jokes, and burping, who plays video games, drinks cheap beer, loves threesomes and anal schmecks, and jams hot dogs and hamburgers into her mouth like she's hosting the world's biggest culinary while somehow maintaining a size 2. Because cool girls are above all hot. Hot and understanding. Cool girls never get angry. They only smile in a chagrined, loving manner and let their men do whatever they want. Go ahead, shit on me. I don't mind. I'm the cool girl. Men actually think this girl exists. Maybe they're fooled because so many women are willing to pretend to be this girl. For a long time, cool girl offended me. I used to see men, friends, co-workers, strangers giddy over these awful pretender women, and I'd want to sit these men down and calmly say, you are not dating a woman. You are dating a woman who has watched too many movies written by socially awkward men who would like to believe that this kind of woman exists and might kiss them. They're not even pretending to be the woman they want to be. They're pretending to be the woman a man wants them to be.
And honestly, we ate this up because it's so true. And it takes real life experience of actually dating men to realize this, that a lot of men don't see us as people, as equal partners. And it's terrible. Since when was this a thing? Or has it always been like this? Anyway, a lot of women loved Gone Girl, the book and the movie, because it's like a release of rage. It's a revenge fantasy for all the injustices that men exert on women. Obviously, Amy Dunn is no paragon of morality, but at least the film captures the range of women's emotions and motives and capabilities. We're no longer the manic pixie dream girls serving as accessories for men's character development, leading them every step of the way while making them think that it was all their idea. It was all they're doing, and being the thankless background character, waiting for the man to pick them before the credits start rolling. No, like at least Gone Girl shows that women can break free from these stereotypes, that women can and will fight back, that scorning a woman has consequences, that we're not to be pushed around anymore. Okay, we are done upholding an image and a system men actively sabotage. Like, men love being perceived as loving father and husband, all while actively cheating on their wives, actively breaking up their families, actively dropping the ball on raising their children. Like, y'all don't even like the system you want us to uphold. Okay, like, you don't even want to do it. Like, you don't even like it either. Okay, we're done. On a lighter note, you're probably thinking, wow, this whole class is such brain rot core. And honestly, it is. Okay, we're rotting today. And if you don't know what brain rot core is, watch this video.
Hi bestie, are you ready for brunch? Oh my god, the fittest fitting is totally giving coastal grandmother slay. I want to be giving in my rom-com era coded, like giving Cameron Diaz, Kirsten Dunst. I said it before, but like, look at this dress, girl. I read all the TikTok reviews on this restaurant and I low-key love how mean they are. They're like, if you don't get this, then what are you doing with your life? But they did say that the French shows will change the trajectory of our life, so we need to get it, even though I want to be snatched with leggings by summer and have a glow because I want to get back in my situationship who was a walking red flag and gave me the ick, but he ghosted me, so I need to get some slay photos of my Canon G7X, post on my stories, and then he likes it because that is modern day flirting. Even though like we met on Hinge, I still do believe that it was red string theory because like what are the odds that we would both be on there at the same time? You know what I mean? In this day and age. What's going on with you? Your brother proposed? Oh my gosh, let me see the ring that he chose. Moissanite. Yeah, you're right, that is tea. But of like sustainability, right? Have you seen that debate on TikTok where it's like, did your mom pick you up in a black SUV or a white SUV? Yeah, so funny. What about me? Bus? Oh no, I mean black SUV. I didn't like ride the bus or anything. Anyway, what's the song of the moment? Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter, I'm working late because I'm a singer.
And honestly, what's wrong with that? Okay? Obviously, some people do take it too far, but I love brain rot core. I love that us girlies are creating our own language that only we understand. It's like being part of a secret group. And I always get these comments that spoiled girly is so cringy. Like, hey, bestie is so cringy. Like, okay, cringe more. Okay? Like, if you don't get it, just say that. Like, you're not a spoiled girly. You can't sit with us. Language is so powerful, and having these words that we share with each other, use with each other, fosters a sense of community. Like, people who don't want to understand that will never understand, and they don't belong here. Like, if you don't want to understand how spoiled girly is a reclamation of the infantilization and the demonization of women for being spoiled, for wanting softness, for being just a girl, then you can't be part of the support group. I told you we're gonna get into my rant. Because I'm so tired of these self-centered bean soup people.
I want to talk to you guys about something I've decided to call the what about me effect. The what about me effect basically combines individualistic culture with being chronically online. And it is rampant on TikTok. And I feel like it's very easy to write it off as like a lack of common sense or critical thinking, but I don't think it's that. So before I continue, I am going to explain what this actually is. The what about me effect is when someone sees something that doesn't really pertain to them or they can't fully relate to, and they find a way to make it about them or try to seek out certain accommodations for their very nuanced, personalized situation, instead of recognizing that maybe they are just not the target audience for that thing. I will give you an example. If anyone has seen the bean soup video, where this girl, she makes like a bean soup that's high in iron to help with your period, and it has like a gajillion different beans in it, and it's called bean soup. And she got all of these comments being like, well, what should I do if I don't like beans? Well, how do I make this without the beans? Can you substitute the beans? Instead of just saying, hey, if I don't like beans, maybe I shouldn't watch this bean soup video. Like I said, very easy to write that off as a lack of common sense, but I don't think it's a lack of common sense. I think it's this individualistic culture that we have created in the United States and maybe elsewhere. I don't know. I don't live elsewhere. I live in the US and I see it running rampant here, where we make everything about ourselves and seek out accommodations and validation for everything. And before someone makes this about something it's not, I'm coming to you as a leftist who cares a lot about equity and inclusion, so those are not the things I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I sit down after a long day and I come onto God's internet and I see videos that are like, here's how to put your hair up into a really cute hairstyle, and someone comments and is like, what if I'm bald? Imagine, I have a gluten intolerance. If I went on every single video of someone baking bread, I'm on cottagecore TikTok, okay? It's everywhere. And I was like, well, I can't have gluten. That would be ridiculous. I can just go watch videos of people making gluten-free bread. So when you come onto this app and you see a video and you have the urge to comment something like, well, what about my very specific scenario? Or, well, not everyone can blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna encourage you to stop, use your noggin, and remember that things are nuanced. Not everything can apply to every single person, and there doesn't always need to be a specific accommodation for you. Love you, bye.
Like, I swear, these people are the bane of my existence. Anyway, we've gone on long enough. That's all I have for you today. I just wanted to let you know that you have so much inherent worth and value in a world that is hell-bent on devaluing you. Now get that bag, bestie.